Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Trimco part number 1160. And this is the first 1160 that I'm ever reviewing. And I've left it in the packaging because I did want you to see part of what the entire unit looks like from the get-go. They use liberal use of this butcher paper, which to me harkens back to how hardware was probably packaged up 100 years ago, if not far longer than that. And this is a pull that, at least currently, they require that we obtain a quote for first. They don't have published pricing for their 1160 pull handles, and the butcher paper is going to be very common and typical of the way that they will send material to the job sites. And I've seen lots of finished hardware literally packaged in this butcher paper. And I don't want to butcher the butcher paper because it's going directly to a client after this video. We're going to liberate it from its packaging. Now this is shown in the 630 finish, which is satin, solid stainless and a satin finish. I know that you can see that partially there. Okay. This is where you stick your knife out, just a small amount, and that's actually too much what I've got there. You want to be real careful when you're cutting into hardware. You want to make sure that that blade's not sticking out too far, because you will get that blade down a little farther than you need to one day, and you'll not be happy about it. Okay, we're getting there. Now this pull is available in other architectural metals as in addition to satin stainless steel. They can do brass and bronze base materials on this, so if you wanted to have obviously polished stainless, sure, they can do a satin finish like they have on the pull that I'm pulling out of its packaging here. They can do a polished finish on it as well. They can do brass and bronze base materials, which means you can have your brasses, your bronze, your chromes, your nickels, your satins, your polished. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so what they've got here is they've got a long piece of heavy gauge plastic, and they've just, it's probably just a very long on a roll tube, so they've tied a knot in one end. And then got the bolts down here. So this is an 1160. This particular client, it's to be 14-inch overall length and 10-inch overall length, and I've been taking my time to work this knot loose so that I can just literally put it back into the package, going back to the client without disrupting it very much. So an 1160 in a 14-inch overall length in a 10-inch center to center. That's what the client asked for. Indeed, and we're going to find out if Trimco nailed it. It's a heavy piece of gear, I'll tell you that. Weighs about 1.65 pound. Yes, indeed. So it's a heavy piece of stainless. Let's test it. 14-inch overall length. That's good. 10-inch center to center. Now that's important because the holes may already be in the door. 10-inch center to center. This is going to have a diameter of 1 inch, spot on. This is going to have a projection of 3 inch, therefore a clearance of 2 inch. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So our description is off, or this pull is not made right. What we have here is 1.5 inch clearance, 2.5 inch overall projection. Yikes. Let's investigate why that's the case. So, not that it's necessarily a problem for the client. He might say, no, 1.5 inch clearance is fine, 2.5 projection is fine. I'm pulling up the manufacturer's product catalog where we can review what they call out for the 1160. No, we're good. Our description is incorrect. That is good. I don't like when there's hardware that's been made wrong. Their catalog clearly indicates 1.5 projection, 2.5 inch, 2.5 inch projection, 1.5 clearance, and by the time you're seeing this video, that will certainly be corrected. Not sure where we're picking up that wrong data from, because I don't see any of their units that have that sort of clearance and overall. So the CL is going to be the clearance, 1.5 inch. The D for diameter, the PD. Okay. I think what they're saying is the mount is 3/4 inch. The PD dimension is 3/4 inch. Yeah, I'd say that'd be spot on, 3/4 inch. That's great. Okay, good. So we'll get that fixed up. Now, I won't bother to cut these out, but all you're going to get, this client ordered a through bolt. Big giant countersunk washer. I'm thinking that that's every bit of a 3/8 bolt that's there. Chamfered edges around the perimeter. Okay. Very, very, well, a good fit and finish. I see a couple of very small minor defects that you really have to study this to see. And that's generally the way that the material is shipped. You know, isolating everything from each other is really important. The problem with, and that came in this way. The problem with the UPS guy is they, I've witnessed boxes just fall off trucks, and no matter how much plastic is between two pieces, that can dent if it hits the ground severely. So we're inspecting that. Packaging is a part of life for hardware manufacturers. Now, so small? Yeah, just a door pull. Okay, well, if you want this to be anything you want, it can be anything you want. You want these puppies to be 9 foot long? They can do it, no question. You can add mounting or mid-posts, multiple mid-posts. In fact, I've been told if you get over 4 foot long, you should have a mid-post because, according to a manufacturer, you can really see deflection in a pull. Obviously nothing this small. Well, that'd be a big drawer if you use that as a drawer pull. But a mid-post can be done. Now, of course, all kinds of different mounting types are permissible. And the mount type that I've shown you here is a type 1 mount, and that's just a through bolt, which means we need to know the thickness of the door so that the length of that bolt can be commensurate with what you're doing. And don't want to have you run around looking for bolts. So a type E is what that is. It's called a finish bolt, and a through bolt and finish washer. And you'll need to let us know the thickness of your door. It could be anything. You could have a 4-inch thick door. I've got one client who's been ordering 3 or 3.5 inch sets back to back for a long time because they build acoustical doors, acoustically rated doors, and they just need hardware to pull the door open. Concealed mount type is there, where you're going to thread, drill and tap directly into the face of the door, and then tighten it down with a set screw that would be here. Obviously, back-to-back through bolt is possible, where you're going to take 2 of these and mount them back-to-back. One's going to have the holes drilled and tapped. Will include a cone bolt with a threaded leg to it. The other side will be just drilled with a set screw to tighten that down onto the opposite side cone bolt that's here. So the threaded portion goes in here, then the cone bolt sticks out. I did say that backwards. The balance of the description down below, full length pulls catalog. That's all there, and that's where it could have come from. Yeah, okay, I see the problem. The original, the older product catalog that we have, there is a discrepancy. They do show the 1160 as a 3-inch projection and a 2-inch clearance. Okay, their catalog lists it as 1.5 inches. Obviously, it's 1.5 inches. In the 1160, they do talk about the different diameters. This is the 1 inch. Okay, where you're going to be able to have 1 inch, 1.25 inches, or 1.5 inches. The 1160 is a square end. You can also do this with a radius top end if you want as well. That's no problem to do that. Okay. Other links down below this video, that one I should say to the full-length pulls catalog refers to the different finishes that can be done, and under special they can do powder coating. We've had them powder coat this material dark bronze as well. Not a problem for Trimco to do that. They do indicate that these are ADA compliant. I doubt that that's actually accurate. If Trimco says they are, then I'm not in a position to override what they're saying, but I don't see it listed anywhere. So I'm going to say that they're not ADA compliant. There's a link to a document called Mounting Methods that will allow you to review. The type E, again, is the way that this one was supplied, and other mount types are listed there. You could have a wood door where you want to do a wood door concealed mount with a knife-style screw. Policy regarding available finishes, that just talks about all of the possible finishes from Trimco. Product maintenance is there. It's stainless steel, so you're going to maintain and clean it like any other product of stainless steel. There's also a handing chart, and the handing chart is important for us to know in certain instances. We do like to know the hand of all of the orders just because it's nice to know the hand. Because these are not offset pulls, if they were back to back, they're going to put those set screws into the bottom, so you can put them either way that you want your set. But if it was offset, you would really want to be able to put them onto the correct door by having your set screws in the right location. You want them down in the bottom, and this again is for a mount type that would utilize a set screw, like a concealed surface mount or a through bolt mount would require a set screw in the base. It is atypical to sell a short one. Just happens to be the first one I'm selling that I'm brought here. This is not the first 1160, but this is the first time I've reviewed one. I think the majority of time these are going to be 60-inch or longer and going straight to job sites in that sort of regard. So the quality of the item meets the typical Trimco expert level of fit and finish. There were a couple of very small dings or dents in the unit below the level of detectability that I would not call it to the attention of the manufacturer and the client for mitigation prior to sending it. They're very tiny. Finished hardware is going to have characteristics like that. It's going to have a personality of that, I suppose you might also call it. There's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can review not only all of the Trimco products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. The name Trimco is synonymous with high-quality trim and auxiliary hardware made by people who understand the quality and importance of fit and finish. So every time I get a piece of Trimco hardware, I like to inspect it for how lustrous it looks, how well the finish on a polished brass piece looks. Most times I can still smell the polish that they've used to hand polish that polished brass piece of hardware. You literally get the sense from Trimco when you buy their trim and auxiliary hardware that it's hand manufactured, and it's done by a name that has been doing it for decades. So if you have any questions on the Trimco 1160 or any other Trimco product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.